voces, hazlo ya, no seas gallina. Y yo aceleré sin mirar la esquina. Delta en 90, gama desbocado, sin frenos, sin casco y sin cuidado, apalancado y sin frenos, con más contratos que sentido, apalancado y sin frenos, la cuenta subía hasta que fue sonido. Apalancado y sin frenos, creí que volaba, pero era abismo. Cada ganancia era gasolina, cada fomo una curva asesina. Quise duplicar lo que no tenía y terminé en reversa, pidiendo guía. El broker me miró y me mandó una cartita.
Hey Tom,
Marginal activado.
you're in the intro.
Bendiciones y prisa. Apalancado y sin frenos. Yo no iba rápido, iba ciego. Apalancado y sin frenos. Y el stop era solo un juego. Apalancado y sin frenos, hasta que el mercado me puso en el suelo. La víctima fue vista abriendo trades de alto riesgo, sin analizar nada. Su última frase fue: esto no puede bajar más. Bajó. Apalancado y sin freno, pero aprendí que no es velocidad, es talento. Apalancado y sin freno, y ahora opero como un viejo lento. Apalancado y sin freno, jamás de nuevo. Ahora tengo el plan correcto. No sea vago, estudié.
Entraste al mercado buscando emoción, sin plan, sin control, directo al fogón. Y cuando el precio se fue a la ñoña, te hiciste loco como si fuera broma. Pero aquí, mi hermano, no hay atajo divino. El único camino es libro, gráfico y destino. Y no sea vago, estudie. A libertad se gana en clase, no en un tuit.
Saludos, estimada familia de Opción Sigma, bienvenidos una vez más a este espacio llamado el Sigma Live. Tom, if you're listening to me, you can turn on your captions and see whatever I'm talking about right now in English. So we're gonna have the captions turned for the audience so they will know what you're talking about. And also, if you wanna listen what I'm saying in Spanish, you can turn the captions on. ¿Cómo están, estimada familia de Opción Sigma? Bienvenidos nuevamente a este espacio llamado el Sigma Live. Y hoy con un invitado muy especial. Un invitado que ha sido una leyenda viva de Wall Street, digamos, y de Chicago Street.
I have my interpreter right here, okay? So
Okay. Got it.
Here, come here, Sol. I have my interpreter right here. There
All
you
right,
go.
let me put you in the screen. Hola. ¿Hablas
My
español?
Colombian and my Ecuadorian interpreter.
Okay.
Interpreter.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Encantado de
Bien,
conocerte.
¿ustedes? ¿Todo bien?
Todo muy bien. Oye, qué alegría.
Encantada.
Encantada. Pero ese acento es como de
Gracias.
español.
¿Perdón?
¿Ese acento es como español?
De Ecuador.
Ah, eres de Ecuador. Pensé que había
Sí.
un dejo por allí de ibérico.
No.
Bueno, un saludo muy especial a toda la audiencia de Opción Sigma. Bienvenido, Tom. Welcome, Tom. I don't know if you're seeing my captions there.
I do not see hold on, let me get this right. I don't oh yes, now I do. Yes.
Okay. Cool. Let me introduce you real quick because this is a great day for us. Así que, damas y caballeros, prepárense para ser testigos de algo excepcional. Hoy tenemos con nosotros a una verdadera leyenda viviente del trading. Alguien que no solo ha guerreado en la jungla de los mercados, sino que ha ayudado a cambiar sus reglas. Un creador incansable, un visionario que transformó cómo los inversionistas operan y cómo los inversionistas ven el riesgo. Es Tom Sosnoff. Desde sus días como operador en el Chicago Board of Options Exchange hasta fundar Thinkorswim y luego encabezar el proyecto audaz de Tasty Live y Tasty Trade, Tom no ha hecho otra cosa que subir la vara. Ha vendido compañías por cientos de millones, revolucionado plataformas de trading y educado a una generación entera de operadores y de traders. Pero más allá del éxito, lo que admiramos hoy es su convicción, creer que el individuo puede tomar el control de su destino financiero. Les presento a quien ha transformado a miles de traders en opciones, Tom Sosnoff. Welcome, Tom. Again, one more time in this space in Sigma Live. How are you doing today?
Great. Happy to be here.
Good. I'm super happy too. Let me put the captions real quick here. Okay, I think everyone is seeing the captions, so I think we should be okay. Just give me 1 second. Let me put this real quick. Okay, I think we're good. All right. So how is everything? People, please, por favor, tengan sus preguntas listas porque Tom es un libro abierto y nos dijo que va a responder cualquier cosa que se le preguntes. Ahora, Tom without his hat looking very serious. Is looking very serious without the beanie. How's it going, Tom? How is life now? So we got...
Well, I'm trying to get used to life without the beret. That's my biggest challenge right now in my life. So I'm getting used to it. No, but everything's great. Love it.
Good. How can we start here? We have ready a couple questions for you. So let's talk about your beginnings, and we can talk about what is happening lately.
Sure.
So if few traders in the world can say they have transformed the financial ecosystem from inside. Looking back, what moment in your career marked the transition from just being a trader, regular trader, to becoming a true market builder?
It's kind of like the overnight 20-year success type of thing. So it was kind of like 20 years of figuring it out before building stuff. So I mean, to be fair, it wasn't something that we just stumbled onto. It's something that took a long time.
I can imagine. See, yes, I love that phrase, that it is the 20-year overnight success.
Yes, exactly.
Thinkorswim changed the history of retail trading. Where did that vision came from? What made you think that this can be done better?
Well, we actually didn't know. We were kind of hoping that we would get it right. When you build something, you really don't, I mean, you just don't know. And the vision behind Thinkorswim was actually, there was a couple of different ideas that we had. And when we started to build it, it just seemed like the brokerage, whenever you start to build something new, you kind of figure it out. And we built Thinkorswim, it just seemed like the brokerage was the way to go. And so that was what we put all our focus on. And you know, I mean, to be fair, we believed in the option marketplace and derivative marketplace, but we didn't really, we weren't sure it was going to be. We didn't really know. We didn't know if the retail investor would adapt. That was the challenge for us.
Okay.
We thought they would. We weren't sure.
So you guys launched Thinkorswim back in the 90s, right? Late 90s?
We built it, Scott and I built it starting in the middle of 1999, about June or July, and then we launched it in like the end of 2000,
Okay.
2001.
Right in the middle of the dot-com bubble.
It was a shit show back then when we launched. I mean, everything was kind of crashing all around us, but that's okay. That's a good time. When everybody else is panicking, it's a good time to do stuff.
When you founded Tracy Trade, many thought it was crazy, an educational
Yeah.
options network
Me
with
too.
no quick rich promises. What pushed you to create that kind of educational content when no one else was doing it?
Well, remember, we built Tasty before there was streaming. So, I mean, there was no such thing as like streaming digital content. So we kind of backed our way into it. It wasn't like that wasn't the original plan. So again, you never know kind of what you're doing until you actually do it. So Tasty, the genesis behind it was just that we didn't love financial media as it stood back then, and we thought we could do something a little different. And we thought there was a market for quantitative finance, and it turned out there was strategic finance, like what you do. We thought there was a market for that was like a mass market, but nobody had ever tried to go after it before. So we did.
That's cool. What's the most important principle you applied either at Thinkorswim and Tasty Trade, and that still guides you today?
Is that you can't you got to do your own thing. Like besides taking risk and besides all the other stuff, just do your own thing. Like when people tell you that this is a dumb idea, everybody told us Thinkorswim was a dumb idea. Everybody told us Tasty was a dumb idea. Like don't listen to anybody. Just do your own thing.
Okay, so you recently surprised many by announcing your departure from Tasty Life. What led you to make that decision? Was it about vision, a cycle completed, or simply time for a new challenge?
Luis, when you sell a business, we sold Tasty 4 years ago, and we stayed on to make sure the transition was great, and we left them with a company that was probably worth double what we sold it for. So we feel like we really honored our commitment. And at some point, when you lose control of a company, you want to build your own thing. You want to do your own thing. So the opportunity, you get to a certain age and you're like, hey man, I maybe got one more of these in me. So you want to just do it.
Okay, but let me stop you for a moment. So you sold the company 4 years ago,
Yeah.
but you knew that you were going to lose control. So what was the motivation behind selling the company back in 2020?
That's very fair. I loved what I did. I loved talking about trading. I loved entertaining. I loved the customers. And I stayed on I stayed on because I thought A, Tasty is a great firm, and B, I didn't want to abandon the customers. So I stayed for a long time.
Okay. And how was the process? I mean, emotionally, it was just a company because it was your story. Does it feel like more closing a chapter or preparing for the next one?
What's funny is when you're kind of like a little bit of a serial entrepreneur like I am, you love what you build, but you can't, like here, an example would be like, Like my mom's an artist and she paints a lot and occasionally, that she has a show and she sells some of her artwork. She's okay with that because that's kind of like, that's what you do. I'm okay with it. I think we left Thinkorswim in really good hands. We left Tasty in really good hands. And now it's time to take on a new challenge. I love new challenges. We have, brand new business. We have all new challenges. And I feel like that's the most fun thing you can do in life.
That's true. That's true. So you got tired at some point from what you were
No,
doing at Tasty?
no,
No, you love
no.
it.
You and I have spent a lot of time together. Do I look tired?
No,
No.
no, not for a single minute. Yeah, people see you as someone who is always one step ahead. Is there something you're already building or thinking about a new platform, a new way to educating traders?
Well, you're going to see very soon. No, I'm not doing something in trading right now. It's something different, but I think it's going to have a universal appeal. We are gonna talk a little bit about trading and markets, but we're not building trading software right now. Not right now.
No, right now. No, for
We are building a digital ecosystem, so there is a digital component to this.
okay. Not for the next 5 minutes. Who never know what's gonna happen? You'll never know what's gonna happen in minute 6. So you said that not gonna talk about trading, but I think it's in your blood, right?
Oh no, I've already made 40 trades this morning.
Okay. You often say that trading isn't about predicting; it's about managing probability. How do you apply that philosophy outside the markets in business and in life?
Um, y- you know, I, I've always felt like that kind of pretty much dominates every aspect of your life. It has to do with just doing things quickly, making quick decisions, taking a lot of risk. I don't think that ever doesn't matter what you're, you know, doesn't matter whether you're ordering a pizza or, making selling an S&P. I'm not sure there's a big difference.
Right. What mistake of or failure has been the most valuable in your career?
All the failures you learn a lot from. And we have had, literally hundreds of failures along the way. So I think they're all pretty valuable, but usually, usually um, when we do things where we're not involved, it gets to be those are most of the failures.
Okay.
When we don't really commit enough resources to something.
So if you have to summarize 40 years of experience in just a few sentences for young Hispanic traders that are listening today, we have right now over 700 people right now connected to our different live stream.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, I honestly think that the opportunity, like I told you last time, I've spent a lot of time recently with in Mexico City and Guadalajara, talking to young traders and especially to grad students and undergrad students in finance. I think the opportunity in South America, Latin America, including Mexico, is just enormous. The programs are the business programs are geared much more towards the curriculums are much better than the curriculums at U.S. universities because the U.S. universities and U.S. grad programs have really kind of old school curriculums. In most of the outside of the U.S., especially in Latin America, um, I have found that the curriculums are much more geared towards what's happening today in the world, like decentralization, globalization, much more currency knowledgeable. And I have found the kids and essentially the marketplace to be on the verge of a huge breakout. So what I would say to the 700 or 800 people listening right now is just listen, you're in a um, you're listening to people and you're getting engaged in a marketplace that I think is going to benefits you for the rest of your life. I don't think when you commit to the stuff that you're talking about and you commit to kind of, understanding markets and trading and strategy and everything like that, it's something that you'll be committed to and engaged with for the next 30 or 40 years. It's never going to go away.
Right. So we're gonna with some short questions, and we're gonna put some spicy on it. All right, you
Yeah,
ready?
yeah, let's do it. Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
So, what is the trade that hurt you the most?
When? What year? This year, this year my worst trade was an Oracle earnings trade. That's my worst trade of the year this year. But that's not my worst earnings trade of all time. My worst earnings trade of all time was 2019, 2020. I'm not sure of the year. Was a Zoom earnings trade that I was off by a couple hundred points on. But worst trades of all time. Uh, Maybe getting short GameStop in 2021 just before it exploded. I mean, I could go all the way back, to like the 80s. There's a lot of bad trades in there. Um, Making some really horrible investments in gold and other things like that. But uh, I would say that I would say it's really important to throughout the course of your career to do some things that just don't work out because you learn from it.
Cool. What would you think is the most overrated financial invention?
The most overrated financial invention.
Yes, could be an instrument, could be I don't know anything.
That's an interesting that's an interesting question because I think that you could go a lot of different directions on this. I I would think there's a couple of different things. I think the term financial literacy is very confusing and it's misleading. I also think that certain managed financial products are pretty disingenuous in the sense that they don't really teach you anything. Like, I don't like, for example, I don't like indexed annuities. I don't like covered call funds. Um, I don't like certain passive products because I don't think that you learn anything from those. So I think the challenge in finance is not traditional financial literacy at all. The challenge in finance is modern strategic finance is really understanding kind of, what market structure is and what's out there for you.
Nice. Yeah, that's absolutely true. There are so many different products at this time. I was talking about with the community these days about those cover calls strategies ETF, and if you
Mhm.
see the performance, it sucks. They pay an incredible dividend, and well, I mean,
Yeah, they have a huge drag on them. They're very inefficient. And that's the kind of thing I just think people need to, really learn for themselves.
it's cool. What do you think is worse, fear or arrogance?
Oh, arrogance. I don't like um there's nothing good comes from arrogance. Um I think fear is kind of pretty natural, but the nice thing is if you understand the opportunities presented by fear, I think that you can work fear to your advantage. That it's harder to work arrogance to your advantage because it's just not a good trait.
Um, what would you make, or what would, yeah, let's put in this word, what would you make to go back to a trading floor? Would you ever do it again?
No, because I'm probably too old, but
I mean,
but
you're not too old, you're full of experience. 4 years in this business.
the trading floors are really cool, but they don't really exist anymore in the sense, when we were on the trading floors, they were all open outcry. Now they're all just computers, so they're less interesting. They're not as cool.
I went to the SPX floor. It has its magic.
Yeah, I mean, it's still if you're not familiar with it, it's still, cool, but it's just different now.
It's not like the 80s or 90s that's crowded, screaming.
No, nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's very different, I guess. Yeah.
that
What?
was a free for all.
Yeah. What inspires you today more than money?
Oh, no, it's legacy. It's legacy. It's just being able to tell your story. No, I don't give a shit about the money anymore.
Now let's could we talk about the actual what's happening in the market today? Because right now
Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's do it.
many
Yeah.
analysts are warning about a possible sharp correction in the markets, especially in tech and AI. What's your take? Are we in a temporary euphoria or the early stages of something deeper?
I I'm nervous because I think the market is very frothy. And I think the market has gotten to a point where you know, there is a reasonable amount of irrational exuberance right now. There is a reasonable amount of frothiness in the market that people, I think, should be nervous. Uh, I think there's a lopsided risk environment right now where you might be risking more to the downside than you can make to the upside. So that's what concerns me.
And market concentration as well. In just few mega cap companies, the so-called Magnificent Seven keep rising concerns. How sustainable do you think that is? And what happens if those few start to stumble? I did the math the other day. So 7 companies represents probably more than 30 or 35% of the weight of the S&P 500.
Well, I mean, I think that, on the way up, that's probably, a good thing for the institutions because they have most of their capital in there. On the way down, it's obviously, going to be a horrible thing and it's going to accelerate the down move. I think anytime you have a concentration of anything in any business, it's risky. You know, I mean, these are mega tech monopolies. These are they're basically, in a certain sense, they're too big to fail, but they're not too big to correct.
That's
And I think that's where the challenge, I mean, it's not like 2000. It's not like 1987 or any of that kind of stuff, because those companies at that point were not too big to fail. These companies are way too big to fail. It's not going to happen. But they just have too much capital. They're just too big. But that doesn't mean they can't correct by 30%.
And the question for the audience: are you prepared for a correction? How your portfolio is prepared to face that type of correction? But the question is not about will it happen? It's about when it's going to happen, right?
Well, obviously, nobody knows when.
Right.
I mean, if we knew when, that would make things awfully easy. You'd be the best in the world if you could,
Right.
if you could figure out when. I think that you prepare yourself by being diversified strategy wise. That's why you can't be like a one trick pony. And you prepare yourself by keeping your size in check, by not being, totally correlated into one sector, one group of stocks. And that's the best you can do. You know, that's it. I mean, there is no such thing as you can have some short deltas, you can do some other things, but there's not that much you can do. Like I'm carrying short deltas. That's my protection.
Okay, let's talk about Papa Powell. With the interest rate, well, still relatively high and inflation is stubborn in many areas. How do you see central banks, especially the Fed, playing their cards over the next 6 to 12 months?
Well, I don't really think the Fed has, I don't really give central bankers a lot of credit, and I don't really give the Fed much credit for the moves that they have to make. As long as bond prices stay in the range that they're in right now, the long bonds trading about 118, and the notes are trading up like just 113, 114 in that range. As long as the 5, 10, and 30-year debt paper stays where it is, the central bankers don't have to do anything. They can probably lower rates one more time if we stay right here, one more time in 2025. And I think that, the bond market will tell you what they can do. And I think right now the bond market it's kind of dead. And I think they're just going to stay right here.
Right. And what about the geopolitical tensions, tariffs, and supply chain disruptions remain key risk? What do you
I mean, there's a lot of disruptions in the U.S. right now. There's the government shut down, whatever that means. I mean, Trump's tariff policy is idiotic. As a trade policy, it's not only is it not effective, it's actually, counterproductive. Um, and I think it's going to go down in history as, one of the dumbest trade policy decisions. Anytime you isolate yourself or anytime, you restrict trade in a world of in a world that needs globalized trade, it's a dangerous thing. And so, right now, the US, I don't like their trade policy and I don't like the whole tariff policy. I think it's idiotic.
What do you think could be the most likely black swan in this market cycle? How would you position for it? I know that we'll never know if that's
Don't know.
Um,
Yeah, I don't think you can ever position yourself black possible because you would go out of business trying to position yourself, for that. But I do think you can be smart about your risk. So I think for everybody listening, the idea that you can position yourself for a black swan event is just ridiculous. You can't. But that doesn't mean you can't be strategically either aggressive or you can't be smart about what you have on.
And when it comes to sectors and investment styles, growth versus value, large versus small caps, or US
Sure.
versus international, what rotations look most promising to you heading into, well, late 2025 and in
Yeah.
2026?
I mean, the NASDAQ looks the most overbought to me, and the small caps look the cheapest on a relative basis, and the S&Ps and the NASDAQ look the richest. So, I mean, if I had to choose, I think you buy Russell, sell NASDAQ, but that hasn't worked up till now.
Okay. And from the structural standpoint, what worries you the most right now? Private debt, hidden leverage, or maybe liquidity risk?
Um, you know, that's very fair because private debt does not really concern me, and liquidity risk. I don't think we have any reason to be concerned at this point about liquidity risk or private debt because I don't see interest rates moving that much that private debt comes into play. What concerns me is there's a lot of things. I have some political concerns. Um, I have I have a few currency concerns. Um, but what probably concerns me the most is just a lack of understanding. Um, I'm worried that there's a lot of money out there, a lot of money chasing unreasonable returns. And I think that expectations, if they're not met, is the biggest concern we have out there. This is the most amount of capital we've ever seen, chasing stock market, bond market, alternative investments, and everything else, crypto and everything else. And I think that there is a legit risk that, some of these either alternative investments or some of these, concentrated investments may come back to do a little damage.
Yeah, that's true. And outside US in emerging markets, Asia or Europe, where do you see the best opportunities and where would you avoid exposure right now?
Well, the problem is I would actually rather invest in if I had the real choice in Mexico, South America, because I think the opportunity is greater there, Latin America, than I do think it is in Asia. I think Asia's already rich. Japan's at a new high. China's been rallying all year. I think Asia's a hard market to crack for US customers. The easiest marketplace to get into is Europe. Um, I don't think Europe has the same potential, but I think it's got more potential than the US. Problem in Europe is it's hard for them to raise capital. It's just not a good place to raise capital. And that's going to be the challenge Europe has.
Yeah. Let's say if the market enters a correction or consolidation phase. I know you don't
Yeah.
believe in technicals or you don't pay too much attention to technical.
Right.
But what flow signals or what would you look to tell whether this is an opportunity to buy or maybe it's a trap?
I think you'd look for capitulation, volume capitulation, number one, and volatility capitulation, number two. I think you can't just base something on price alone. So I would look for volume capitulation and volatility capitulation. If you see vol get up, plus, let's see, 45 in S&P volatility, anywhere up in that area, you're getting into the point where you're getting, volatility capitulation. If you see volumes get to some kind of crazy number on a consistent basis, you're going to see that's capitulation. I think that's a good sign to buy.
Now, quick responses to these quick questions. Is the market expensive or just concentrated?
Expensive.
Buy the dip or wait for the next one?
What dip?
Buy the dip.
What dip? You mean 2 days ago, that dip?
Right.
No. You mean this morning we're down 20 handles? No, that's not a dip.
A trader's biggest enemy, ego or hope?
Ego or what?
Hope. Esperanza. Hope.
That's a fun one. I'm going to say ego, but I don't know if I believe that. Sometimes hope is a worse enemy. I hate hope too.
If you could pick just only one, delta or theta?
If you could pick only one, I go theta.
All right. That's what I thought. Would you rather sell volatility or buy fear?
Oh, I'm a vol seller. Yeah.
Now, if the Fed is managing the game well or is just kicking the can down the road, what they're doing, what the hell they're doing.
Well, you know what? The Fed's job, this is not, I think most people don't understand the Fed's role. The Fed's role is they're essentially the same as buying catastrophic insurance. So the Fed's role is to provide, is to be there in case of a catastrophic event. When you really need the Fed, it's when things get super ugly and you need the Fed to pump a lot of liquidity into the system. Other than that, the marketplace tells the Fed exactly what they need to do. So I don't think the Fed is very dangerous. In other words, they can't do anything that the marketplace doesn't really allow them to do. So I'm going to say the Fed's not that dangerous. I think the Fed plays an important role because they do provide catastrophic insurance.
Right. What is the most overrated asset of 2025?
Bitcoin.
And the most underrated one?
Let me go back for a second. The most overrated, Bitcoin and gold.
And gold, right? Yeah.
And gold. The most underrated. That's interesting. It's probably some physical commodities. I can't think of a stock that's grossly underrated. So I would say probably some physical commodities, not gold and silver, not precious metals, obviously, but I mean, everything else is relatively cheap. Natural gas, crude oil, all the agricultural products, US dollars cheap now. So there's a lot of things that are relatively cheap.
Mhm. And if you could erase one word from trading forever, what would it be?
Hedge.
Nice. I love it. Yeah,
I
because
hate the word.
Oh,
I hate the term hedge. Hate it.
what would you rather have? 10 small smart trades or one home run a year?
10 small smart trades or one home run a year. Well, I mean, I would hate waiting around for one home run a year. So I'll take the 10 small trades.
And does luck exist in trading or is it all timing and probability?
No, there's definitely some luck. You need a little bit of you need a little bit of luck in everything you do.
Yeah. And what is the best piece of advice you ever gave? And the worst one you ever heard?
You're touching all the bases today. You're doing everything. Um, what is the worst advice? Um, you're gonna hate this, but the worst advice you can give anybody is take a step back and think about it. Take a step back and think about it is the worst advice you can give anybody. Just because you got to just make a decision. Just make a decision. Don't step back. Don't think about it. Don't overthink things. The worst advice you can give somebody is just slow down, think about it. Don't ever slow down. Don't ever think about it. The best advice you can give someone is when you have an opportunity to do something, just do it.
When you have an opportunity to do something, just do it.
Yeah, when you have an opportunity to take some risk, when you have an opportunity to do something, just do it.
Okay, I will keep that for me. Would you build another platform from scratch?
That's an unfair question. So, I don't know.
Would you rather have a volatile market or a boring one?
Oh my God, volatile every day.
Yeah. If the market could talk, what will it be telling you today? Today, October 14, 2025.
I think the market is saying, hey, don't get carried away here. Like maybe we're not getting ready to roll over and die type of thing, but don't get carried away.
Don't be carried.
We're frothy. We're rich. Don't get carried away.
Let me pick some questions for the audience. Let's see.
Tell me where the people are from. Tell me where the people are from.
Okay. So, por favor, si ustedes pueden poner su pregunta y de qué país están haciendo la pregunta, estaría muy bien. ¿Listo? Entonces, voy a empezar a leer las preguntas, pero pongan ahí de qué país son, de qué en qué ciudad están. ¿Vale? Okay, this is amazing. Will you join Opción Sigma and Sigma Trade on the coming future or join forces?
Yeah, of course. Come on, that's a dumb question. Of course we will. We do it all the time.
Por favor, pongan de dónde están. Okay. So where did you leave Tony? I guess he's talking about Tony Batista.
Where did I leave Tony? At a bus stop.
And this question is from Dominican Republic. From Spain, Robertus. Tom, from Australia, do you see... I don't know what he's talking about. Sorry. Tom, don't go until the PDT is gone. From Orlando, Florida.
Hey. Scott did everything he can do to get rid of PDT. It's going to be gone. It's going to be gone.
Okay. So when next month is going to happen?
Hopefully before the end of the year. I'm hoping late November, early December.
Okay. From Ecuador, we have here another question. We have from all over the world, actually. So, Tom, do you have a trading learning program? I will love to be one of your students.
No, I do not. No. I use people like you. I don't. We don't, we build stuff, but we don't teach or mentor.
From Colombia, Adriana, have you explored using AI and with options trading? And are you considering developing any AI tools to make options easier to small investors to understand and use?
I think it's already in the process of taking place. So yes, the answer is yes, not to make trading decisions, but to help with the learning process, the strategic process, and to speed everything up. I think AI is going to be a very powerful, very positive tool for traders, but not to pick a trade, but just to help you trade for sure.
Yeah. From Argentina, hi Tom, I'm 30 years old. How much capital do I need to become a millionaire by retirement using only cash secure puts and cover calls? Well, that's a tough question.
I mean, that's a very loaded question, but you if you're consistent and you stay with it, I think you can do it, you know, $50,000 to $100,000 should be plenty.
From Mexico, how would you distribute a portfolio of 20K?
I would be right now with a portfolio of 20K, I would be about 5 to 7,000 in cash, and the rest I would distribute between stocks and option strategies. So I would be about a third, a third, a third, a third cash, a third strategic investments, and a third stocks.
From Spain, how do you see the future of the economics in the European Union? The policy,
They're
economic
challenged.
policy. Yeah.
Which one? What is it?
The economic policy in the European Union.
I think it's challenging because, you know, the definition of a union means a lot of people have to get together and you know, and work together. I think they have a lot of challenges in Europe. Market structure, liquidity, capital, those are all challenges. The currencies are strong now, so that helps. But I think there's a lot of market structure challenges that they have to face. I think the US right now, with their kind of isolationist type policies, trade policies, is making it easier for Europe to come together to have a stronger economic policies. So I think right now, by you know, almost not intentionally, but it's just happening, Europe's in a better situation.
No olviden poner su país al lado de la pregunta. From Puerto Rico, Ángel, in IVR inferior to 20, is it smarter to skip short premium and use calendar diagonal spreads, or
Yeah,
can
you
still
want.
make iron condors triangles with specific tweaks?
Yeah. I think that if you're going to, I think that's from Angel. If you're going to, if you're measuring everything off IVR like we do, you want minimum of 30. I think if you're under 20, you want to either use debit spreads or diagonalize. Go something horizontal. So debit spreads are horizontal under 20. Over 30, you can sell premium, right? You know, right premium, whatever you want to do.
From Ecuador, what to do with cover calls with Nvidia that I'm losing because the price went up? I guess she's stuck at some strike, I guess.
Well, actually, she's not losing. That's just a common, you know, that's common when you do a covered call on the stock and the stock goes higher. That we call that a high class problem. She's not actually losing.
Yeah.
I mean, today Nvidia is down, but it's down let's see, it's down $5.50 today. But Nvidia's been on an unbelievable tear, so she's probably long stock, short calls, and the short calls are in the money. So you're not technically losing. Okay, you actually made the max you can make on the trade. One of the things you can do is close out the covered call and sell naked puts again, you know, instead. It's the same thing risk-wise, but it puts you in a better position, you know, it uses less capital.
Yeah. I know exactly what happened with this person is when Nvidia went down, I guess she moved the strike, and I guess she's positioned under the break-even price. That's why her...
Yeah, I understand that. So a lot of times when the stock goes down, you have to be aggressive and roll the calls down. But you obviously still want the stock to come back up. It probably moved up faster than she wanted it to. But right now with Nvidia down today, you probably have a lot of different options you can, you know, different things you can do. I would be, you know, I would stick with the position.
From Mexico, how do you see the stock market in 2026?
It depends how it closes 2025. If it's up here, I'd be a little bit nervous in 2026. If it sells off a little before the end of the year, then I think it might be okay. I mean, I think the stock market is getting towards the end of its, double-digit returns every single year. But we'll see.
I want to clarify, we don't provide any financial advice, but this is just an open question. Pick one
Yeah.
stock that would you be buying right now?
Pick one stock that I would be buying right now. Let me just look at some of my long. You're not going to like my longs. Um, Hang on one second. Oh man, you're not going to like these. Uh, One stock that I would be buying right now. I'm just looking through all my long trades, which are not that many. Um, I'm long, like I said, you're not going to like this, but I'm long CMG, ENPH, ETHA. I am long a little tiny bit of Oracle, and I'm long TTD and UNH. Those are my longs. I don't know if that doesn't mean I would buy any of those right here. I'm just telling you what my own personal longs are.
Okay, that's a very, very good exit. From Cali, Colombia, la capital de la salsa. The liquidity, let me see. La liquidez sí debe ser mejor. So liquidity will be the best signal to keep going.
Yeah, liquidity is your key. You never want to do anything that's not very liquid. Just stay away from the illiquid stuff. Make sure that you have volatility on your side and liquidity on your side.
Okay, we have a question from Dominican Republic. So Rosanna wants to know if she can. I guess the question is, can I borrow money from the stocks I had in Tasty? She doesn't refer to Mark. I guess she's talking about
Yes, she
taking a
can.
loan, taking a loan against the
Yeah. Yeah, you can borrow up to half.
Okay.
So if you put yes, she can borrow.
Okay. This is from Peru. If you are new to the stock market, what would you say? Where to start?
Well, that's always the toughest question when you're new to the stock market. But the way you start is with, I would, buy a few shares of some of the companies that you like and try a few option strategies, like, maybe a vertical spread, short or long, either direction, and just test things with a small amount of money. Just do tiny little trades, like one contract, less than 100 shares of stock, and test the waters. You have to start by trying something.
Okay. From Honduras, what tools do you use, like on a daily basis, to trade? Candles, moving average, or order flow?
Well, I don't use a lot of technical tools at all, but I do use all the quantitative tools that we built into the Tasty Trade platform. So I use basically all the quantitative tools that we have, mostly, wrapped around volatility, expected move, probability of profit, all those.
From Cuba, what do you think about the PDT rule? How do you think that brokers are going to handle it in order to, I don't know, so many people are penalized right now.
I think brokers are going to pop champagne bottles and get rid of it in 12 seconds. I mean, they're literally going to turn it off. It's not even going to, it's going to be like it never happened.
I love these questions. With all the success you have had, how do you keep your feet on ground?
You just keep working.
Just keep working. Okay.
Just keep working. Yeah.
Okay. So is any of these platform tasties available to El Salvador?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Scott, is Tasty available in El Salvador?
Are you with Scott right now?
I am.
Say hello please. Say hello.
I'm checking right now because El Salvador is, I think it's on the list of restricted countries, but I'm checking. We're checking. Let me check.
Okay. Venezuela, hello to the Big Tom. Well, to me. How do you see the AI in the traditional trading, retail trading in the near future?
I see it being very beneficial on multiple ways um, from Venezuela. I think that it's going to help, it's going to speed up the education process. It's going to speed up the search process dramatically. Um, I think it's going to help with risk monitoring. I think it's going to help with like looking at the two types of risk. I think it's going to help with position risk, and I think it's also going to help to give some ideas of like outlier risk, statistically. So I think AI is going to have a very positive impact on the world of trading. I think it's going to make it even more efficient than it is today. I just don't think it's going to be able to tell you um, what you can, what you should trade. I don't think that will ever be the case, but I do think it will help you with strategies and stuff like that. And according to Scott, the El Salvador person should just write to support@tastytrade.com, and they'll let you know. I think you can request it, but we're not 100% sure.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, all right, this is a tough one. If you have had lost all your money in the stock market, will you keep investing? And how would you do it?
Well, if you've lost your money, that puts you in a very tough position. You should never you should never put yourself in a position where you can lose all your money. You can take risk and you can lose. That's totally normal. It's normal to take risk. It's normal to lose, but you don't ever want to put yourself in a position where you lose everything. If you do, you have to, work your way back slowly. It's a challenge. There's plenty of people that have done it, lost everything and come back from it, but it is very much a challenge. We prefer lose something, but not everything,
Right.
right?
Yeah. From Albania, you see, what importance
Albania?
yeah, you see, there are Latinos everywhere. What
great.
importance do you give to statistics and if you use backtesting models to build your strategies?
We do use a lot of back testing. Tasty was built on kind of a whole data set that we built over a 15-year period. And there's a lot of back testing that goes into that just for optimization. So we're big on math, quantitative statistics, and optimization. But that's the kind of the foundation of Tasty Trade. So it's a big part of what we do. The statistical approach to finance is kind of at the very core of Tasty.
Right. From Netherlands, what can you tell us about Lost Dog? I don't know what he's talking about. Maybe you know.
Sure. It's the new project that I'm working on. It's designed it's going to be a new talk show, and also a new piece of technology that is designed to narrow the wealth gap. I think people are going to be very intrigued by what we're building. We're taking on a big challenge.
So did this called Live Tasty too?
Yes, we're both building Lost Dog.
How do you? This is from Colombia again. How do you manage your emotions at the moment that? Let me see. Well, okay, when you were at your beginnings.
I mean, it's no different than anybody else doing. You kind of just get caught up in the moment. Like, when you do something and you build something, you don't really think about it other than, you're focused on what you're doing, right? So you're not thinking about everything else. You're not managing emotions because you're managing all the challenges.
From Las Vegas, Nevada. Hello, Tom. I'm from Venezuela. My name is Gladys. My question is, what will be the best advice for navigating this market with the current president of the United States?
Well, we can all move to Canada. We can all move to Mexico. We can all move to Colombia. I mean, that may be the best choice. With the current president as unpredictable and as unhinged as he is, I think you have to just, you have to focus on kind of whatever, you have to focus on different strategies, and just in the back of your mind, you have to realize that there's some risks out there that there's certain geopolitical risks that you might not have in other environments, but the reality of it is the marketplace is much bigger than, than Trump.
So do we still have time for a couple more questions?
Let me see what time it is.
It's 12. Oh, it's 11.
I actually have an 11 o'clock. I only set aside an hour. I have an 11 o'clock meeting that I have to be on, but I would love to sit here and do this for 5 hours. If you
Right.
just gave me next time, Luis, you just need to book me for more time.
All right. I
want to answer. How many people do you have on now? 800 or something?
Like 100, yeah.
800. That's amazing. And they're all over the world. And these are my favorite, these are my favorite kind of discussions, just to help people everywhere. And so, it's incredible. Let's do this, but next time set aside 2 hours.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. So today we had the privilege of speaking with the living legend of trading, a man who didn't just build platforms, he built mindsets like mine. I really, really have to thank you for that, Tom. Tom Sosnoff didn't come here to predict the markets. He came here to remind us that trading isn't about guessing, it's about managing probability. In a world where everyone is chasing shortcuts, he keeps defending the most powerful idea of all, that knowledge and disciplined action are the real financial freedom. From Chicago, from the trading floor, from Thinkorswim, from Tasty, thank you, Tom, for inspiring,
Here,
for challenging.
Luis, I'll leave you with one thought that one of our guys here said. And think about this. Next time we'll talk about it. Which would you rather have? Your laptop or a bar of gold?
Okay, that's, well, I will know the answer for sure.
Because knowledge is king. But we'll pick that up next time, my friend.
All right. Thank you.
All right, take care, everybody. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Peace.
Yeah. Yeah.
See you, Luis.
Sí, take care. Ahí lo tienen al gran Tom Sosnoff. Oiga, me hubiese gustado, separamos una hora, así que como él lo dijo, me hubiese gustado que esto hubiese sido por más tiempo, pero pues ahí lo tienen ustedes, al gran Tom, y espero que se hayan divertido tanto como yo. Siempre es un placer hablar con él, escuchar su visión del negocio, escuchar su visión del trading, escuchar realmente cómo se opera, y no solo a nivel de una cuenta de trading, sino cómo se opera emocionalmente. Así que no me queda más sino pues agradecerles su asistencia, los análisis del mercado, porque podemos invitarlo a que nos analice realmente lo que está sucediendo, pero creo que nos dio unos muy buenos insights de cómo deberíamos nosotros abordar nuestras cuentas, abordar nuestras emociones, abordar, por supuesto, todas aquellas impulsos y todos aquellos detalles que componen este maravilloso mundo, pero que no deja de ser un mundo rudo, un mundo en donde estamos expuestos a tanta información y a la vez a tanta desinformación. Así que bueno, pues me encantó tenerlo y enterarnos aquí de los chismes de la propia boca de él para que después no, no se presenten por allá otras desinformaciones en un mundo cargado de acceso a tantos medios digitales. Así que bueno, pues nos vemos entonces el próximo jueves en otro Sigma Live. Hoy empezamos nuestro curso de 0DT, que empieza el día de hoy. Empezamos 0 días para la expiración. Esto no es, esto tampoco es, esto sí es, este sí es. A ver, entonces miremos, a ver, aquí les presento el curso 0DT que empieza el día de hoy, en donde vamos a estar haciendo 0DT. 0 días para la expiración, intradía, scalping, empieza hoy a las 6, será solamente una sesión teórica, las demás serán solo sesiones prácticas en diferentes horarios del mercado, en la apertura, al mediodía y al cierre del mercado, para que ustedes puedan escoger el que más les convenga de acuerdo a su trabajo. Entonces vamos a hacer una sesión práctica en cada uno de estos horarios para que ustedes puedan decidirse por cuál se sienten más cómodo, cuál se siente mejor, cuáles nos arrojan mejores probabilidades de éxito. Hoy a las 6 p.m. nos vemos, y si quieren darse de alta en el Sigma Club, pues no dejen de visitar www.opcionsigma.com para que se den de alta en el Sigma Club. Pues fue un placer haber compartido con ustedes el día de hoy. No dejen de suscribirse, No dejen de activar la campanita de las notificaciones y seguiremos trayendo aquí a Tom, que ahora me dice, tengo más tiempito, podemos compartir más tiempo. Él me está ayudando con algunas cositas de Sigma Trade. ¿Quiere que les muestre los últimos chismecitos de Sigma Trade? Ven y se los voy a mostrar aquí rápidamente para que ustedes lo vean. Otra vez la embarré. Vamos a ponerlos acá. Si ustedes ahorita van a la cadena de opciones, fíjense. Ups, aquí hicimos una actualización. Vamos a ver, vamos a ir a la cadena de opciones. Y fíjense que les pusimos una herramienta que yo sé que ustedes van a disfrutar un montón. Y se trata, creo que me la quitaron porque tenemos que arreglar una cosita. Pero les pusimos la primera desviación, segunda desviación y tercera desviación estándar. Ya la van a ver aquí en la cadena de opciones. Así que también van a ver la probabilidad de profit y pues van a tener disponibles esas herramientas a partir del día de mañana. Ya está en la versión UAT. Déjenme, les abro la versión UAT que ahí ya debe estar disponible para que ustedes la vean y ustedes puedan sacar ahí sus conclusiones. Parte, digamos, de una de las cositas aquí, los aportes también que nos hizo el maestro Tom fue esto. Él nos está dando ahí una manito con ciertas cosas de la plataforma. Su experiencia es invaluable, así que, pues bueno, creo que todavía no lo han actualizado, pero bueno, se los queda debiendo para la próxima, para que el jueves veamos cómo funcionan las herramientas, para que ustedes vean. Vamos a incorporar, por ejemplo, el IB Rank, vamos a incorporar, ya incorporamos el Probability of Profit, incorporamos las desviaciones estándar para que ustedes tomen decisiones más y más informadas todos los días. Bueno, se nos agota el tiempo. Les mando un fuerte abrazo. Recuerden que todas las personas que se registraron en noviembre pasado tienen acceso a nuestra educación, a nuestro curso que empieza el día de hoy, a nuestra formación que empieza el día de hoy. Y si no te has registrado, pues visita www.opcionsigma.com. Sí, todavía se pueden inscribir. Nos vemos entonces en la próxima. Cuídense mucho. No sean vagos, estudien. Gracias por su asistencia. Chao, chao.
Esto es opción Sigma. No es un método, es decisión. Esto es opción Sigma. Mentalidad, control y convicción. Esto es opción Sigma. Protejo mi cuenta, protejo mi visión. Porque invertir no es suerte, es planificación. El café de la mañana llega al WhatsApp, te despierta el alma, te dice reacciona ya. El Sigma News te informa sin piedad, sin excusas, sin promesas, solo realidad. El Ciclo te conecta, aprendes a ejecutar, compartes preguntas y empiezas a ganar. Aquí no hay gurús, hay comunidad, y si te caes te ayudamos a levantar. Esto es opción Sigma, con estrategia, paciencia y visión. Esto es opción Sigma, pincelos con probabilidad y control. Esto es opción Sigma, la regla de oro, proteger el capital, porque quien resiste gana al final. Sigma Live, mi mujer me domina, el mañanero, la hora Sigma, summits, cursos, comunidad activa. Esto no es solo trading, es otra forma de ver la vida. Esto es opción Sigma. No vendemos humo, te damos verdad. Esto es opción Sigma, con visión de inversionista de verdad. Esto es opción Sigma. Si buscas emociones, ve a otro lugar, pero si buscas resultados, aquí vas a estar.